Oh, hi. Welcome to another segment of Yay or Nay. Now, these videos in particular, I don't want them to necessarily always be about video games. They can be about anything, and I'm always open to suggestions. So, for this one, I'm going to talk about movie remakes. Now, let me be quite frank. I'm very stubborn when it comes to movie remakes. I've seen, some of them are good or okay, or something like Nightmare on Elm Street. I saw that in theaters just because my friend talked me into it, and I just made fun of it the whole time. If you look at, let's take a look at the Ghostbusters remake, for example. The thing is, part of the reason that's getting such a huge backlash is because people are sick of remakes. They want something new, something fresh. Of course, you have movies based off of comics and video games, but that's a little bit different because not everyone reads video games or plays video games or reads comics, so it's new to them, so to speak. But let's look at some of the other movies that have been remade, like RoboCop. Technically this is the collection, but I'm focusing more on the first one. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. I saw it when I was a kid, and I pretty much grew up with it. I love this movie. It still never gets old. And it was remade. And this movie was actually so graphic. It was originally going to be rated X, but they cut some stuff out to make it rated R. So how do you take that and turn it into a PG-13 movie? I'm sure there's one of my friends said, like, oh, the remake is actually really good, but I don't know. I'm all set. As far as I'm concerned, the remake doesn't even exist. Well, here's Ghostbusters. Now, let's take a look at the titles of these movies. RoboCop, Ghostbusters. It's like that great 80s pun. You're like in, what the hell is it called? Predator. Brain fart. Look at Schwarzenegger's quotes through 80s movies. Like in the scene in Predator when they're near the beginning when they're fighting all the guys in Central America, and he throws the machete at the guy, pinning him to the post, and he says, like, stick around. Nobody would say that in the middle of a battle like that, but that's what made these movies so great. And again, see, it's like those 80s puns, but you take, these movies, the title is an 80s pun. You take that today and put it out into today's youth, like, nobody's gonna see that with a movie of that. I just don't get it. Let's look at some of the other movies that I know are being talked about being remade. Big Trouble in Little China. Probably because it was like a very underrated 80s movie, and now it has like more of a cult following. A lot of people talk about it here on YouTube, so Hollywood notices, like, oh, let's remake it, because a lot of people seem to like it. Yeah, it's probably gonna bomb. Another one, Short Circuit. Why? Oh, of course, because anything with like puppets or animatronic. Oh, we gotta remake that. I know they've talked about doing this, and I think they backed out. I don't know what, but The Crow, technically based off a comic, but the thing is, Brandon Lee died during the making of this movie, and it says his name in the credits, like, in loving memory of Brandon Lee. Oh, let's just remake the movie, his final movie. Yeah, that's a good way to honor his memory. Excuse me. Another one, I know they've talked about remaking this, and I think they kind of backed out, but I'm sure they'll probably still do it at some point, unfortunately. Back to the Future. Again, Michael J. Fox, I think it was during the third movie that he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, so during the filming of the movie, he was like just kind of fighting the pain because he didn't let anyone know he had it, and they didn't know he was like, it's sad to look at him like over the years that that he's in such rough shape. It's heart-wrenching. So, let's just remake his greatest movie. Yeah, that's nice. Same with Brandon Lee. Yeah, let's just remake their greatest movies, even though one of them is no longer with us, and one of them has a fatal disease that he's been struggling with for 20 plus years. Oh, of course, because this is Hollywood we're talking about, so they don't care. All they care about is money. But let's look at some of the original movies from back in the day. Enemy Mine, very good movie, underrated 80s movie. I love this movie. Fortress, underrated 90s movie. If you're a sci-fi fan like myself, you should definitely check these out. I'd probably put this on my top 10 favorite movies list. The Fifth Element, I think this is another one that's gotten a bit of a cult following, so to speak. But this is such a good movie. It's like, look at the cast. It's like this random collection of characters. Like, one of them's a former military retired cab driver now, an alien, a DJ, a priest. It's awesome. Avatar. I'm sure there's mixed things about this, but you can't deny the fact that this is a phenomenal movie. I mean, and it's original. You know, this actually, I think most people are just mad because it sold more than Titanic and The Dark Knight. You had huge box office hit, made more than those movies. I think that's probably what bothers people. Why? Because it's original. That's a bad thing. Here's another thing that actually came out like 5 or 6 years ago was Man-Borg. This is just this came out in 2011, but it's just like this cheesy 80s style low budget movie. I would watch this over a big budget sci-fi, big budget movie. I mean, I'm not a fan of Michael Bay's work, but I actually kind of liked the new Ninja Turtle movie. I haven't seen the new one yet with the more recent one that just came out with Bebop and Rocksteady. I definitely want to see that at some point, though. The fact that they're in it sold me, but I mean, and that's the thing. I think Ninja Turtles I don't think those remakes. I think it's just that that's such a huge franchise. It's been around for 30 years. Like, I mean, it started in the early 80s as a comic that has its own storyline. Then there was the 87 TV series that ran to the mid-90s. That has its own storyline. The movies from the early 90s had their own storyline. And even the video games and toys had kind of their own storyline. So I think it's different takes on it. So I think these new Ninja Turtle movies, I don't think it's a remake. I think it's just a different take on it. So that's a little bit different, but yeah. So, movie remakes, yay or nay? Nay. No. I'm sick of these things. I'm sure a lot of people are too. Like I said, that's part of the reason the Ghostbusters movie's getting a huge backlash. Nobody wants remakes anymore. Well, most people don't. And, or as Philbert would say, from Rocko's Modern Life, as he would say, alright, that's enough of that. So, if you have any ideas for future yay or nay videos, let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and as always, thanks for watching.